I mean, how is this even possible? I mean, I'm
It's what
trying.
humans do to animals every day. What do you mean? How's it possible?
Yes. No, no, no. The thing is, you are trying to find my moral position on
Yes.
someone
Good. Yes.
else's, so on someone else's actions. I cannot have a
Yes.
moral position on someone else's action,
You
can I?
cannot. If someone is gonna murder you and your family, can you say whether or not that's moral, immoral?
But you are using these postulates because when you use these postulates are done in the manner of subject.
Okay, so if you're the object and someone is gonna come and like completely demolish you, it's moral because from their perspective, it's moral. Yeah. So you wouldn't fight back.
No, that does not mean that I would not fight back. I would not hold it against them.
You wouldn't hold it against someone if they were just gonna demolish you.
Look, you have to understand the
That is what
practicalities.
you just said.
No, you have to understand practicalities here. If they are far more superior in sentience and intelligence, first of all, I don't have a chance. Humans have not a chance. That does
What
not
does that
mean.
have to do with man? Why you just keep on avoiding the question? You just
I'm
dodging,
not
dodging,
trying to,
dodging.
no, I'm not avoiding the question. I'm trying to, set that question in its position. Because when you put humans on the same levels of animals compared to someone else, then we would have to question their
Okay,
moral.
so if someone is a psychopath and you're going to be treated like an animal and they're just going to come over there and like completely gut you with a knife, what are you going to say? You think you're going to say, you're going to tell me what you're telling me right now? You're going to say, well, we have to consider it from the psychopath's
No, 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 no.
side.
You're taking the consideration part. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the moral compass changes.
What do you mean the moral compass changes? I'm asking you the question. To a
Okay,
psychopath, it would
here,
be
here,
moral, for
here,
example, to
here it
completely,
goes.
demolish you.
Here it goes. Let's put it into a realistic perspective. They are far more sentient than us. Humans don't hold a chance. They're going to do it anyways. You're telling me that
What does that have to do with the situation? Is it moral or
yeah,
immoral? That's the question.
yeah. In my point of view, it is immoral. From their point of view, it is not immoral. It is morally okay. Would that answer the question?
Okay, so you think it's immoral.
Yes, it is immoral from my perspective. It would be immoral for me because it would validate all three of the postulates that are that I have mentioned. I am human. I have the sentient level of a human. I am perceived as a human. For them, if we take, I mean, it would be immoral in my view. But for them, if you take it to them, then that would change for them. It would not change for me. If we take it to them, the word human would change to whatever they are. So if they use these same postulates, they would also have the same thing. Just as humans, we are using these three postulates, they are working for us. And if those higher sentient beings are using these postulates, it would work for them as well. If you are using these three postulates on
Okay, so
me,
why don't you think it's immoral for humans to do that to animals? If it's immoral for aliens to do that to humans?
I'm not saying that animals don't think that it's immoral. I'm saying that it is not immoral for humans. If you raise the bar of sentience, you just raise this postulate to a higher level. There is nothing hard
You just
about
said it
that.
was immoral for humans.
It is immoral for humans too because humans are dying. Animals don't want to be killed. Nothing wants to be killed. I never said that they want to be killed. Nothing wants to be. I'm using these three postulates to say what we as humans can eat or not eat. And if someone else would use these postulates, they would not use the word human. They would use the word whatever they are. We are trying to figure out who eats who. Is that not what we're trying to do?
What did you say? I didn't catch that.
I
Just
never
the
said.
last bit.
I mean, we are trying to figure out who we eat and who we do not eat. Is that right?
I don't eat anyone. That's what I
No.
do.
these three postulates are the, I'm just
Yeah. Okay.
trying.
So you've established. First of all, you said it'd be moral to kill the humans, and it's immoral for them to kill us.
Oh my God, I can maybe nameless would make it easier for me. I never said that animals don't think that it's immoral in their point of view that we are killing them. I'm saying that it
Well,
is not.
no, I mean they're making a decent point here. Like your moral system doesn't necessarily hold up when it comes to changing like the level of hierarchies that you're talking about. Like the fact that it is relying on one level of hierarchy, but it's not valid at other levels of hierarchy means that the system you've put forward requires refinement at the very least.
Okay, so basically we are trying to find a stack of traits.
Wait, wait. Can I just ask you? You said it was immoral for the aliens to kill humans. Yes.
I said that from the
I'm
point of
talking about your perspective,
yes, yes,
obviously.
yes. No, no, no. You can't have my perspective when you're asking for the perspective of the aliens.
No, I'm
Because
not asking for the perspective of the aliens. I'm asking of your perspective.
okay, so if aliens are killing me, it is still immoral for me because I'm dying.
You think the action is immoral. Okay, so why is it immoral?
Because from the three postulates that we are using, I am human. But when the aliens will use the same three postulates, they would not use the word human. They would use the word whatever they are. So it would not be immoral from their point of view, just as killing animals that do not fulfill these three criteria is not immoral for me.
So if I may make a suggestion, maybe you can refine your postulates to be not use the word human, but to say my species.
Huh. That is a decent way, but I was actually going to think, and I don't know if it is right or not. I want all of your opinions on this. Why don't we use, why don't we change the second postulate and say the sentience level near or above humans? How about that?
Because that
What?
would get you out of this situation, wouldn't it?
Well, of course, that is what we are trying to do here. We're trying to make the traits. That is exactly what we're trying to do here. This is not a debate. This is a discussion. We all help each other out. I mean, people have to understand the importance of discussion. And I was having this talk with the, what was that weird name? Sexual, fedosexual. I was having this discussion with fedosexual last night that people are forgetting the importance of discussion. Debate is about winning. We win nothing in a debate. We have to
If
do
you want to
more
discuss,
discussion.
then why don't we just discuss why you're not vegan then?
Well, if you want my personal opinion, because I try not to use my personal things because it includes religion. And, well, nobody is a Muslim here, at least I don't think so. That's why I try to
We
take it
have an
from,
ex-Muslim here.
yeah, okay. So, good for you.
Do you
The
speak
thing,
Arabic?
no, I speak Urdu, Hindi, Punjabi, a little bit of Gujarati, English, and I can
So,
sing in
so you,
Japanese.
so you've never actually read the Quran in its original
Of course,
text?
I've read the Quran. All the
No, no, but
Muslims
I
have read
said,
the Quran.
do you speak Arabic? Do
Oh
you
no, I
read
can't.
Arabic?
Oh yes, I can speak and read Arabic. I just can't understand what I'm saying. Not most because I have read the translations a few times, but I cannot, if there is a paragraph in Arabic, I cannot always translate it. I can translate a few words here and there, but not exactly.
Okay, so we actually have a guy who's an ex-Muslim who speaks Arabic, and he actually is aware of a passage which he can probably explain to you better. But I'm just wondering, because you've already said that animals don't want to die, right? Is there
Yes.
something in your religion that means that you must kill these animals?
Oh no, there is nothing that says. Oh, actually, there is. We have to make the annual sacrifice. So yeah, kind of have to do that. Uh, but out of that, it's not a necessity.
Okay, so how often would you have to make the sacrifice, assuming that is the case?
Once a year.
Is that Eid? I can't remember the. Is
Exactly,
that
Eid
during Eid?
al-Adha. Yes, exactly.
Is that okay? That's the bloodbath that they have, right, in the middle of the city.
Oh, come on, don't call it a bloodbath. The poor
I
get to
mean,
eat.
it's literally bloodbath. Like I can get you pictures where it's literally
I
just
do the
streets of
slaughter
blood.
personally. I do the slaughter personally. I know how it is.
No, no, no. I mean, you're aware of like there's pictures in the city where there's literally a bloodbath going on.
Um, let's just agree with you for the sake of the argument because we keep our city clean.
Now, for the sake of the argument, do you only kill the animals at that time, or do you kill them, I'm assuming, and pay for their killing year round?
Well, I personally kill the beasts once a year. Otherwise, there are butcher houses to do that thing. And I mean, I'm a businessman. Why would I want to waste my time doing that?
So just to be, and I want you to be honest, you only kill them once a year. And what did you say before? Up.
There are butcher houses to do, meat cutting and all. I can buy my meat from them.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So you actually do pay for, that was one of the other things I asked you is, do you actually pay for them to be killed year round?
Of course, I pay for my meat. I can afford it.
Yeah, so you pay for these animals to be killed, even though your religion only maybe mandates it once a year, but
Exactly.
you're aware that they don't want to die.
No, nothing wants to die.
Okay, then if it's the case that it doesn't want to die there and your religion doesn't require you to kill them year round, then what's the issue? Why are you paying for this?
I like fine dining.
Right, so that's what it goes down to, right? It's just that you don't really care what they're experiencing. You don't care that they want to
Oh, no, no, no.
enjoy their life
I
and that
would
they
not
value their
go that
life.
far.
You're just 1 second. And you literally just said I enjoy fine dining, right?
Yes,
You're
I do.
just saying that you enjoy the taste of it enough to deny them of their life
Yes.
and to deny them their desire to continue living.
Yes.
Okay, so if we're going to discuss them, why don't we discuss why you think that their lives are so worthless that it's okay to.
No, you said the word that I would, not consider their lives at all. I would disagree with that because if we're taking the perspective of Islam, here's the thing. Islam strictly orders us, and this is a punishable offense if we are ill-treating these animals, if we are not
Can
feeding
I
them.
get you footage of halal slaughter? Like there's people in here that can get you footage of halal.
I know how halal slaughter happens. I do it myself.
So I didn't say, okay, but do you do that year round? Because you just admitted that you go from butchers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're aware there's still a lot of instances of halal slaughter, which I don't think a lot of Muslims would enjoy.
If those butchers are caught that are mistreating or using dull knives or breaking their necks before they bleed out, they will be punished, and they are.
Okay,
And in
yeah,
Pakistan, especially in Punjab, ever since Aisha Bukhari came into the food authority, these people have been caught and punished and jailed, and it has been something that has been happening in my province, and people have celebrated Aisha Bukhari for her work. She's a
okay,
very
but
brilliant person.
just to be clear, that is been happening, and Muslims have been paying for that to happen, right? When you have the option to not pay for it,
we have a better option of,
So
what is the word?
just to be clear, Muslims have been paying for year round, and it has been happening year round when you have the option to not pay for it year round.
Okay, you're talking about the butchers not doing it properly, or you're talking about butchers doing
Just,
it
just,
properly?
just all of it. So even if they do it properly, you have the option to
Okay,
not take the life of something that has a desire to live, right?
I will take the postulate that they are doing it properly, and then I will say yes.
Right. So and as you've admitted, it all comes down to you just like eating them and you're happy to deny them their life and their desire to live just because you enjoy the taste.
We are the prime species of this
So
world.
now you're adding things on, right?
No, I'm not
So now
adding
you're
things on. I'm giving you the reason why I am okay with this. We are the prime species of this world. We are the humans, and they are not.
okay, cool. So we've got prime
We are going
species
back
and
to the first.
taste.
We are
Yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
back
So
to the
if
first
there if
postulate.
there was okay, so if it's prime species and taste, right? If you find out that there's a species in the universe that is just much, much more intelligent than human beings, would it be okay for them to eat us year round for fine dining?
I already established that with Keiko that the moral compass would change from us to them. It would be wrong from our
So
perspective.
that's you. Okay, you understand the thing that you've set right is
Mhm.
if you're the top of the pile and you like fine dining, that's the moral code that you've currently set. You understand that?
Yep.
Okay, so
Other things also
just to be
include.
so just all right, just chuck in the other one.
No, it would have to be chucked in one by one as soon as the problems. Oh my God, my thumb is killing me. As soon as you carry on the discussion, if other things have to be chucked in, then and only then would I chuck them in, because we are trying to keep the postulates as minimum and as vast as possible.
So why don't you just continue on? So I mean, if you're going to throw in an objection, you may as well just throw it in, so we know we got a full view of what we're working with.
You see, uh, do you want the non-religious perspective, like just like we were doing before, or do you want the religious perspective? Because the religious
So
perspective would not
I want to
help in this
know. I
perspective.
want to know. So right now, right, this is the totality of the issue, right? So we kill at least 70 billion land animals and probably at least the same amount of sea creatures, right? A lot of these creatures have the same sort of ability to appreciate life as at least children, mentally handicapped people or so, and arguably more because they have different and more wide sense perceptions quite often than what we do, right? So things like mantis shrimps can see a wide range of colors. A lot of birds have senses of perception that we can't even perceive, and pigs have senses of smells that are amazing compared to us, right? So they have amazing lives in their own perspectives that they enjoy, and we kill billions. We kill more than 10 times the human population year on year, right? And then a lot of these animals, the vast majority of these animals are kept in shitty conditions before they're killed, right? And then on top of that, there's a lot of evidence that it's worse. It's no better for our health, and quite often there's a lot of evidence that it's way worse for our health. It's destroying our environment, right? And there's a lot of evidence for that. And if we actually want to go forward and feed the growing population of people, we're wasting an enormous amount of resources by producing these animals, feeding them food that uses resources that we could be using to feed human beings, and then giving these animals, like you said, because you have money, to richer people in poor countries and people in rich countries, right? And on top of that, we're also using an enormous, actually, the majority of human suitable antibiotics are wasted on these animals to keep them sick because we keep them in shitty conditions most of the time. And we are effectively accelerating the risk of antibiotic resistant bacteria being developed. So, given that that's the kind of thing that you're contributing to, and given that you don't mind that that's occurring in the world, I want to essentially get a picture of why you think that's a good type of option as opposed to, say, a vegan world.
Okay, so we would have to take things a little bit into perspective here. The animals that are kept in shitty conditions, that is not a vegan debate actually, that is an industrialization debate.
Why do you think they're kept in shitty conditions like?
Because capitalist countries are really
It's
bad at doing things.
it's not
Because
it's not a capitalist it's not a capitalist thing, right? Here's the thing:
because
is
I
if you
because
have a certain
I
amount of supply, if you have a certain amount of demand for it, right, then you have to scale up the supply to a point, and we can't keep that much amount of animals just running around. It's not
that's the
economically
thing.
feasible, and it's not possible to actually do that. So what we do is we
No,
just pack
I
them
would
in and we
disagree
mass
with
produce.
that. I would disagree with that. The reason that I would disagree is that I am actually from Pakistan, and agriculture and animal agriculture is something that we do. And it is something that I personally partake in. I mean, I grow chicken. The desi chicken, it's hard to breed, and all of that thing. And I personally keep them in good conditions. The reason being, if they're in good conditions, they would be healthy, and a healthy meat brings me more money. On the other
How
side,
many? How? At what age do you sell these chickens?
uh, about a year and a half,
You're
roundabout
losing
there.
money. You're losing money.
No,
If you
no, no,
actually
I'm
had
not losing. No, no,
factory
I'm
farmed,
not losing
no, no,
money.
no. If you actually had factory farmed conditions, right, you could sell them at about 5 weeks, or about 50 days.
Those are no, those are broiler chickens. I don't use those, and I'm actually very much against the use of broiler chicken. They are a health disaster. That is the reason why I personally, grow desi chickens. The desi chickens are not a health disaster. They are not fed the whatever poison they are feeding them. And I'm personally quite against these things because these are a health disaster. My aunt died to cancer. That is why I grow these things. They taste better, they are healthier, they are bigger, and they give me better money.
If
They
you
give me
you
much better
realize if
money.
you actually so there's this here. If we're making the economic statement, right? If it's just the economic statement, it tends to be the case that if you can grow these animals quicker and in a shorter amount of in a short amount of time, but also with less land and with less resources, you tend to make more money. Does that make sense?
Then it again turns from a vegan debate to an industrial debate because industrialization in itself has to be corrected. That is the reason why I'm growing desi chicken and not broilers. And I don't eat broilers. This would actually turn from a vegan debate to an industrial debate, and we don't want to go that far because I'm not an economist. I'm just a simple businessman.
Okay, that's fine. Um,
I mean, if
what
they
was
are
your
kept
trait?
in that,
We can go back to your trait stack, right? We can just go back to,
yeah,
look, that's the totality of the vegan argument as far as I'm aware, right? And if I can promote one thing versus another thing, I see the vegan option as ideally much better as a world than I see it across multiple landscapes. Um, than essentially all forms of omnivorism. And
I
you understand the
actually,
things that are listed are a large part of the reason why, and that's why I would promote veganism.
there's the thing. I already had that discussion with Keiko. Hope that I pronounced it right. Uh, you see, not using the animal agriculture would not actually increase the plant agriculture in reality, because in the ground reality, the fact is, I am from Pakistan and I am giving you this as a ground reality because I can personally see it. I'm from Pakistan, from Punjab. Now, Punjab is a very highly populated area, and Punjab is also the agricultural capital of Pakistan. And I am from a very rich and very dense city, the city of Sialkot. It's a small city, but it's a very rich city. And I can go out and buy unused agricultural land even in this city. So if I can buy an unused agricultural land in this city, that means that there is essentially much more agricultural land that is not used even after we are using agricultural land for animal agriculture. That means if we stop using, I mean, from the human perspective, from the civilization perspective, we have not reached a position, I mean, that animal agriculture is actually affecting the production capability of the earth and the humans. So maybe later on, in 1,000 years later, we would come to a position where animal agriculture would actually be affecting the plant agriculture. And when we do reach that point, then that argument might be valid, but we are not at
Whoa,
that.
whoa, 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 whoa. Right. So that's okay. First of all, one, I mean, actually, I'll be going to India soon, so I'll have a good chance to look at it myself.
Mm,
But if it's the case right now that I can show you that the main cause of deforestation in a lot of countries is animal agriculture, right? Would you agree that it seems to be the case that it's a driver for environmental change? And we can actually show you models, but actually I don't even have to show you a model, I can just show you a picture which shows that animals tend to use more resources than plant-based agriculture.
Okay, do you want a religious perspective answer to that or the other
No,
thing?
no, no, that's not a religious, I've given you an empirical statement.
Yeah, and the answer to that can be empirical or religious. Which one do you want?
Why would I care about the religious statement to that?
Exactly. I'll give you the empirical one. The thing is, the major factors for the environmental disaster are not things such as driving cars or things like it. It's the industrialization, the effects that animal
No, no,
agriculture
no.
has.
Just, dude. This is super simple. This is like a super simple statement.
No, if something is insignificant, why would I consider it? From the
Okay, cool.
point of view of,
Here, just here. Let me get you a paper. Give me a sec.
I'm actually on a cell phone, so I might not be able to, see that thing because my computer is fucked up because my mom just had to pull out the plug.
So that's in general I'll put one. I'm just going to put a really simple picture.
Is it the PNAS thing?
Yes, it's the penis thing.
Okay, with a third of all food production lost via leaky supply chains or spoilage, food loss is again food loss. This is an industrialization debate, not a vegan debate. Come on, we should try to keep
What?
it to morals.
Just dude. It's like you didn't track. What was the point that I made with regards to this?
You said that it is the point that we were on is that it is an environmental disaster, and
So
the
how the fuck do you think you feed the current amount of people, right, that are eating the amount of meat that we're currently eating? And at the moment in Asia specifically, the amount of meat that's being eaten has substantially grown over the years, and
okay.
it's continued to grow, and it's actually becoming more and more of an environmental disaster. Look, there's another picture in there, right? It's just really fucking simple. It's just called the ecological pyramid, and that explains why it has to be the case that when you have an environment, a animal system or animal heavy system, that you're going to use up an enormous amount of energy and an enormous amount of resources.
Yeah, that is what I told you about earlier, Sid.
I would recommend just reading the latest IPCC report in regards to land usage and then get back to us. Okay, thanks.
Is
But
really hard
Destroyed.
for me to do on
this thing really just
mobile
isn't
phone.
an industrial debate, right? This is just it. Look, I'll give you two. You don't even have to. I would recommend reading Miss Misa's links, right? But I'll give you just a super simple Guardian interview with a scientist who's done a mass scale farming study, and um, I'll give you the actual study as well. Now you can just read the article and get back to me on that if you want.
Well, I would be able to, but like I said, I'm on a cellular device. I am,
I'm also on a cellular
Does
device.
your yeah, so am I. Does your thing
I'm not
actually
very,
does
I'm
it
not
open
very
up?
good. It does open up, but it takes so much time to open, and I could not read, and then I could not talk. So it's quite hard for me since this is a push-only
Yeah, but
talking.
is it false because you haven't read it, or that you can't?
No, I'm not falsifying it, or I'm, I saying
Okay,
that it is
so
true because I could not read it.
Miss Misa's posting the abstracts for you. You can just read it in general.
Yeah, I'm doing that. Okay, the composition of the biosphere, the fundamental question that the rest of the animal is the deep surface. What? We find that the kingdoms of all life concentrated at the different locations of the planet.
Look, man, all you have to know is that 90% of the energy is lost between transfers on the food chain, not food chain, on the trophic level. So, animals, if you eat animals, you use around 9 times more energy than if you just ate the crops themselves.
And you're saying that the world does not have enough energy for that.
I'm not saying anything like that, and I wasn't the one saying anything anyways.
What we're saying right now is, so take, for example, I'm in Australia, right? We have to use enormous amounts of resources, including often clearing the land. In Australia, about 80% of our land clearing, so us actually cutting down trees, is only due to beef, just beef, right? If you use all animal agriculture, I think it's a bit more than that. And that's currently happening. Even historically, it tends to be the case that sheep farming and beef farming has been the #1 cause of terraforming throughout my country. And there's enormous areas that used to be, there's an area that actually used to be called the Black Forest because once you're in it, you couldn't see the sun. The forestry was that thick. And if I showed you pictures of it, it's just long rolling green hills now.
So sad.
Basically, your argument is that animal farming is destroying the forests and we would not have enough oxygen. Is that what you're trying to say?
So it's not
Oh my
just
god.
oxygen. So it's the totality of the fucking problem. So
The totality of the fucking
it
problem is
produces it produces greenhouse gases. It cuts down enormous amounts of forestry, which actually, yes, it is problematic for the balance of CO2 in the air. It also reduces soil degradation and reduces soil quality. It terraforms the area. It often causes land runoff into water, which is a large part of ocean dead zones occurring, right?
uh-huh. Here's the thing, soil degradation happens even when you use vegetable, the plant-based agriculture. If you're talking
So,
about oxygen,
so we're
most
not
of the
just talking about,
oxygen,
we're not, we're happy to talk about issues with monocropping, right? But an enormous amount of this is just due to the fact of us cutting down enormous amount of trees to make it possible for us to feed animals, right? Now,
gradually,
if you want to do monocropping, if we hold all things constant, monocropping even in a vegan society is likely to be better than an animal based society or an omnivorous society. If you want to go towards some sort of totality,
what are the
um,
fears? I'm trying to
what?
understand what are the fears? What things will hurt us at the end of it? What will hurt us as humans?
You eating animals is what's gonna hurt you in the end.
How?
How? I mean, do not like. I feel like
I
we're kind of.
literally
No,
sat here for a
no, no, no,
minute
no.
listing
You're saying
about
no,
10
no, no.
different things.
You said
Do you
deforestation.
understand like basic biology like at all? Because like it sounds
I
like to
do
me like
understand.
you literally
No,
do,
I
like you thought that we were
understand
talking
basic
about not
biology. I
having enough
do, and I
oxygen. That's
understand
not at
basic
all what we
business.
were talking about. Wait, you
No,
thought that
no,
we were
no. I
talking about
understand
Okay,
basic.
cool.
oxygen. That's not what we were talking about. We're not talking about oxygen. Like, do you not understand like what's going on like around the world currently? Like
You are
fucking climate
arguing for.
change,
Okay,
like ecological collapse. Do you not know anything about this? Are you just like that
I
oblivious to
understand.
like the world around
I'm.
you?
I understand these things, but I was just
Doesn't seem
asking
like
for
you
it.
do because you thought that we were talking about oxygen, not having enough
I
oxygen
was.
around the world. That's not all what we're talking about. When you destroy an entire ecosystem, entire forest, you're destroying literally the mechanism that we have, the only mechanism that we have that actually works to absorb CO2 out of the atmosphere. Do you not understand that?
Woman, there is no need to get angry. I was asking that to, use
Ooh,
I'm
the.
the
sorry,
Muslim
I'm
doesn't
fucking
like it
angry
when
because people
women
like
talks
you
back.
piss me the fuck.
No, what else am I supposed to say? I used the word woman. Is that wrong?
Yeah, I mean, you didn't say man to me.
Of course I did. I said dude.
No, you didn't.
Well, I didn't take that bad. If you take it as an offense, I'm sorry. The thing is, I was asking that to, have postulates in my mind and then answer them one by one. That's why I said, what are the fears? I did understand these. I wanted to listed them all by you so that I could run them down one by one. That's why I said like oxygen and like deforestation. That's the reason why, I said that. It's not like I don't understand it. It's that I wanted to carry on the discussion.
Yeah, so what we're saying, right, is that you can easily feed 10 billion people, right, without actually cutting down any more trees around the world.
Of
And
course,
as a
you
matter of fact,
can.
a lot of the areas and we're talking on a plant-based diet, and a lot of the areas that are currently used for forestry, for farming, we can actually just replant that with forestry and actually repurpose that into forestry, which would be better for the
You are
environment.
not taking into the. First of all, we have to establish that all of this is actually very dangerous for humans because humans will tend to the like at the end of it. So,
I'm sorry, say what?
because the humans will tend to the like.
What?
Humans
Tend to what?
humans will care about humans.
That's just an idiotic statement. So why don't you respond to what I said?
No, your argument is that it is destroying forestry and all of this and that, but all of this,
Yeah, do you not realize it's also going to destroy you in the end, right? That's literally
yes,
driving you to your own
The,
yes,
demise,
so
as well
so
as every other
exactly,
human on this
the
planet.
point
exactly.
the
It
point that
is,
we're making, right, is humans are dependent on their environment for us to be able to live comfortably, healthily, and so on and so forth,
exactly.
right?
So in the
So
end, it is
if
for
we
humans.
have a better, if we have an environment that is better suited for human health, then that's probably going to be more optimal. It's a really simple statement that I'm making, right?
Yes, exactly. You guys don't have to, think that I'm giving a conclusion when I'm, when I say that I'm giving a conclusion, that is when I'm giving a conclusion. And I'm not exactly trying to have a debate here, but a discussion. So when I said that what are the fears, I was trying to state all of the fears so we could address them and then see that if it is the better way around or necessary to be exact, because humans don't usually try to do the better things. We usually tend to do what we like and what
So
makes us
just dude,
comfortable.
please just make points because you're rambling quite a bit.
Yeah,
So
sorry, sorry.
just make simple fucking points.
Yeah, the thing is, uh, if we're afraid about CO2 and the oxygen, most of the oxygen is made
Oxygen. We're
by,
not talking about oxygen.
okay,
We're talking about CO2 in the atmosphere.
We're talking about the totality of the issue, right? So we're talking about greenhouse gases. We're also talking about ocean acidification. We're talking about runoff. We're talking about soil degradation, right? So go
and
ahead.
all of this is happening due to industrialization of these things. Now, if we would do this
No, dude, you didn't track at all. You didn't track that at all.
you're
You can
saying
have
that
an
more land is
industrialized
used. You're
vegan.
saying that
You
more
can
land
just
is,
stop. Just don't. You're being either you're not tracking well enough or you're trying to be dishonest at this point, right? You're
actually, I
just not
think,
either.
you
It's
know
one
what?
of those things. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Understand this point. An industrialized vegan system, right? All things held constant, is going to cause less environmental damage than a omnivorous one, right? So if we're just feeding people plants, even a shittier system, even a system that isn't ideal, that's going to be less damaging than a one that feeds people a lot of animals, right? And then if we try to do whatever the fuck system that you're talking about, the way that the trophic system works, you still need to produce more resources and use more resources to provide animal products in the food system. Do you understand that?
I do understand that animal agriculture requires more things than plant agriculture, but my point here is that are we at the point of civilization where that is a danger to us?
Absolutely, yeah, because there's fucking scientists around the world that's already said that repeatedly. Just read the fucking IPCC report and get back.
Yeah, here's the
Because
point.
if you don't know that, then there's no point continuing on this, right?
Yeah, I agree. There is literally no point.
Because now you're just circle jerking, just going around in circles. There's no
No,
point in
no,
us. There's no point in us just
guys, calm
feeding
down.
you all of this information.
No,
No. Look. You've
He clearly
apparently
can't
had
even
these
comprehend it,
conversations
though. Kai, he
with
clearly cannot even comprehend what you're
multiple.
saying to him.
guys,
You
let me
you
finish.
you've been talking to multiple people. At this point,
Yeah,
you're saying we don't know this information, right? You said we don't know
no,
if this is becoming problematic, right? You said that. Everybody just heard you say that, right? You literally said we don't know if this is a problem, and that means that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because anyone that's
no. First of
even
all,
even
what I can
marginally
do,
kept attention, anyone that's kept marginal amount of attention on the news and environmental issues, right, would know that this is already problematic. So that's
okay,
just idiotic from you.
dude, first of all, you have to take into the account that it's 2 a.m. right here, so I'm kind of, don't blame me if
Then
I'm out of focus.
stop debating. Look, go over,
Okay,
save up the links that we've given you. Just
I already did that.
don't push
I'm,
forward. Don't push
I'm
forward, okay?
trying to,
So
I'm trying to close it.
just stop,
Yeah,
just stop. Just take. We've given you an enormous amount of resources, right? And there's nothing constructive to be had if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So
no,
go back, look at the things that we've linked to you, read those, and come back to us. Otherwise,
dude, you are
you're just
trying
being a
to have,
dishonest piece of shit.
no, you
We
are
don't.
just
There's nothing to discuss. There's nothing to discuss anymore. You don't know what you're talking about. So go
okay.
off, read
How
the
about
resources.
having, dude, how about having you're trying to complete this discussion in just one
No,
sitting.
I would prefer if you were to go read what we have
Exactly,
posted,
exactly.
because like I agree with Cog and what he's saying. There's no point of talking to someone about this shit if they literally can't even track what the fuck you're talking about, and clearly you don't. So there really is no point in talking to you.
Dude,
Therefore, go read what we posted. I can help you out by kicking you out of the server, banning you out of the server. I can even help you out just muting you, so you don't further this discussion until you actually educate yourself.
I thought that we were having a civil discussion.
We were, right? And then it's
Yeah,
come to the
and
point. It's
I've
come to the
heard,
point
I've,
where you've exposed the fact that you don't know what you're talking about.
no, the
So
thing
unless
is,
you have a direct point,
we
because
can
here,
actually,
just stop. This is the point where we knew this was pointless, right? Is when
no,
you
no,
said
no,
we don't
you're
know
not
if this
trying to,
is damaging to enough for us to make a difference, right? When you
no, no,
said
no,
that,
you don't
when you
understand.
said it, we don't know if it's become damaging enough.
You're not
That's when we
trying
knew
to,
that the conversation needs to end, and you need to go read it. Don't need to
what
say anything else.
I'm trying to
Just go off
say
and read
here
it.
is, first, what I'm trying to say here is that conversations can end on, better notes. And secondly, we
I
don't
don't really
actually have,
care about ending it on a better note. You eat my fucking friends, stop eating them, then maybe I'd consider.
yeah, I think these are the kind of things, if we are trying to make people vegetarians, this is the kind of attitude that would make people not
This is
vegetarian.
we for us to convince you, you need to be approaching this from an honest
Exactly,
point.
exactly.
If
And
you if
I
you
mean, I am,
if you
first
if
of
you
all,
can go at that part
I
of that
would,
honesty, a part of that honesty is actually just stopping for a second and going, oh, I might not have the information required for me to continue this conversation, and just
I'm not
stopping. So that's all you
disagreeing
have
with
to do.
that. I'm just saying, first of all, this argument started with name the trade and turned into, the environmental thing. If I was prepared for
You
it
you
in that
didn't.
way,
I
I would have
listened to
said
you
to you.
try to talk about name the trade, and you weren't tracking what these people were saying, right?
Oh, he was. I think he
Because you
was.
kept
Of course, I was.
he kept pushing off from my
No,
perspective to the other's perspective, right?
Yeah,
well,
he was
that
answering
was
your question.
that
No,
was
no,
a
no,
very
that's not the question
basic
we're
thing.
asking. We're
That was
asking
a
from
very
an
basic of
independent
it.
view.
That doesn't make
No,
any sense.
that was a very that
Okay,
was the very basic.
Danny, have you ever watched Handmaid's Tale or anything like that? Or
Handmaid's Tale. Is that a show?
yeah, it's a show.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
Because
so essentially what
first
happens
of
is
all,
a bunch of women in that basically, well, there's a lot of things that happen,
Yeah,
but
I think
basically,
I have the
they,
gist though. I have the gist. What about it?
so do you exist in Gilead?
Oh, okay. I guess I don't have that to that extent. But is it like
No,
a
no,
is
no.
a
I mean,
dystopia?
yeah. So are you in the dystopia?
Do yeah in the do I exist in the dystopia?
Yeah.
well, the world is a dystopia.
Um, I mean, I don't think I do right now.
No, no, no. I'm not asking you. Like, I'm literally asking you. Like, you obviously don't live. You're not in the book or in the TV show, right?
No, I'm
And
not. No, I don't.
yeah, and in the perspective of the people oppressing the women or whatever, it's fine to do what they're doing, right?
Oh well, I just don't understand how morals can be decontextualized.
No, no,
Apart
no.
from the subject.
I'm not. This is all I'm saying is the people that are oppressing the women, or are doing what they're doing to the women, they view it as okay.
They have most reason
They
to
have,
abuse them.
they
Yes.
have, do they have valid
Yeah, yeah.
reasons
No, no.
to?
I'm all I'm saying. I'm not saying what the reasons are. All I'm just saying is they look at it as okay. That's all.
That's what it means for that. I interpret that phrase as they have most reason to do what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And from that, all I'm saying is when you're watching like if you were to watch the show, and from your perspective, does that seem okay for them to do what?
I don't have reason to abuse them.
No, no, no. So when you're watching that happen, do
I
you
think
think
that this would
this
boil
is this
down
is
to,
okay to watch, this is boring, or watching this, it makes me feel that is a morally bad thing that's happened?
Yeah, I would say that I don't have the same perceptive values as the people that are abusing the women.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
that's
think this
essentially
would
all
be
we're
out.
getting at. And
No,
what we're
but
saying is,
that's what he was saying. He was saying from there. That's what I just said was basically a fancy way of rephrasing what he was saying. From their perspective, they have reason to abuse them. From our perspective, it seems like abuse us. We don't have reason to abuse to treat them that way.
yeah, and that's what we were getting at, right?
Well,
Which is that
that guy just
we're
agreed with my
asking
position.
to observe.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't hear what he said.
That's what he was saying. No one was understanding him.
Okay,
that is
I
what I was
mean,
trying to say. I mean, you would have to look at Twisted and The Wizard of Oz, at the same time to actually understand this, because you are not trying to understand how the difference of perspective changes morals, because difference of perspective does change morals. And I came here with, and name the trade is actually a moral conversation, not an industrialization conversation or an environmental conversation. It is a moral conversation, and that is
What do you
which.
think? What do you think ethics is? So, what do you think the environmental issue is?
Oh, I'm not, neither am I prepared at this hour to talk about that. I mean,
So,
maybe two
so
days.
what do you think in the
Let me,
basis of the environmental
let,
issue? What do you think the
I
issue
will,
is?
I will give, I will give my personal opinion, and it will come with a lot of ifs. If the animal agriculture is the basic reason for environmental disaster that would translate into human suffering in the foreseeable future, then and only then I think that it would be in the favor of humans as a species to not continue animal agriculture. But if it is not so, then I think that the human want, I'm actually out of words right now, the human want to have luxury is something that has made human progress throughout the centuries. So if we want to progress and we do that trying to take out the human want of wanting luxuries, we will not be
Look,
able to
all
progress
he's saying
further.
would, just to rephrase what you're saying, you can say yes or no. He's just saying he cares about the environment insofar as it establishes or creates human suffering. Right? That's what he said.
Yeah, because if I came
Okay,
here prepared for all of that, I would be answering those things. But I came here with,
then
like
go.
what my name
That's fine.
said.
Okay, we don't need to go over it. I think if you're just going to rehash it, there's no need to do that. So we gave you a lot of papers. If you
Yeah,
want,
I can read
we
that.
can we can tag you in it again if you would like, but I would
I can
recommend
follow.
reading that because they
Of
tend
course
to
I
be
would.
pretty unequivocal.
Of course I would. I mean, this conversation started with name and trait, and we were, revolving around that, and suddenly it changed to that. That's when I was like, okay, I am not prepared for this. I did not come here. Nobody told me that this is what was coming, and nor was I was asking for
Cool.
it. But okay,
Then read that, and then I can go over the health effects and the health arguments about
exactly. I mean,
why we
it's
should
one
also
thing at a
push
time,
for.
one discussion at a time, and
Yeah,
I
that's
hope that
fine.
you
So
like me.
once you're done with that, come back to me and we'll go over the other issues as well. That's all.
But I want to have your conclusion. Was I able to establish the name the trait thing?
I don't know what you mean by establish.
The reason of the whole name the trait argument is that you name a trait. And I came with the solution that I made a stack of traits that come with an or. So, and my friend Nameless was helping me out, although he is a vegan, and I love him for that because he's a very good guy. And he helped me out in, naming the traits. So I
Well,
made that
don't
stack of
misrepresent it.
traits.
I was vegan.
Nameless, you disgust me sometimes. Anyways,
Yeah, you too, bud.
have some standards, man. Anyways, what do you think that was I able to establish the name the trait argument?
So are you
That
saying did you establish a good response?
no, I
Hello? I think it's dropped out.
Maybe. Prior to him coming in here, I tried to establish a reductio. That I think would have come up, and I think I did an okay job. But because they're or statements, it's a little weird to try to get a reductio on some of those.
As in, were you arguing against it or for?
Well, I mean, I just like arguing, right? So, I mean, he puts forward an argument, and then I said, "Oh, hey, so here's the argument that they're going to run," which is NTT. And I built the trait stack, and then I presented the reductio. And then I think the one I used was some tribe that was geographically isolated about 1,000 years ago that's no longer genetically human, and their sentience / intelligence level is beneath humans significantly, so they're no longer near, and they are not having the appearance of humans. And I think he bit the bullet on that one.
Yeah, the other one you can just do is something like, it's some creature that has the same amount of enjoyment as, like a mentally handicapped person at the level of, say, like a pig or whatever. And they, and obviously you don't know what they look like. You're just told that they don't look particularly like a human being, but they're enjoying things essentially the same as what a mentally handicapped person's doing. And you can either just eat something that's equivalent, or you can effectively flip the coin and it, potentially this person dies. And we can have a system where that it's like that. So you have something like 70 billion of these creatures dying when you don't have to have that happening.
I think we got some applied ethics there, which like certainly a valid like argument. But I don't like the reductio with disabled persons still doesn't invalidate SID's first premise. And I think maybe the third premise. It depends on how disabled they are.
Where is
Wait, what the fuck?
It's up there somewhere.
I'll repost it if you want.
Yeah, do that.
It's gonna take me a second, hold on. It's not on my clipboard. I'm scrolling up to find it.
There, I
And
just posted
also
it.
point out that he only values disabled people because of their human shell. Because you could have the
Well, I
same
mean, otherwise
you could have
you
an
look.
identical mind in a being that's not human, and it's just not have value.